you want to marry, your family members are saying no. They are saying no, they will not support it, they will not agree, all sort of things. Your mother parents are saying if you don't, if you follow that person, they'll severe relationship with you, blah 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 blah. Then you pray, you pray, you pray, you pray. The one morning you'll be sitting there and your father will say, okay, I've agreed, go and marry the person you want to marry. That's what do a machine. And I'm saying that it's God's intervention. It's God's intervention in the catastrophe or in the unresolvable issues. I would say that Connect enables the playwright to unravel some secrets or resolve issues that seem beyond human capacity. Yeah. Opoku, can we hear you?
Doc, thank you. Prof, thank you. I want to ask a question in the form of an example. I want to find out whether that my example that I'm about to make is part of the machine, as you're saying. Is it that, assuming, let's assume somebody was on the verge of being hanged for a crime that he or she didn't commit, either himself or herself. Assuming when he was about to be hanged, somebody came and rescued him, out of the blue. The person came and was like, I was the one who committed the crime. And for that matter, the one who is about to be hanged is needed to be freed. Can we term that one to be part of, and if that person is being freed, can we term that one to be part of the Deus ex machina, as you are saying?
Yes, of course, because it's a divine intervention. And when we talk of Deus machina, it doesn't mean that gods themselves will come. Through human beings. So it is a perfect example, right?
Yes, Prof. Thank you very much.
All right. So as we said, from that danger, and then it usually would end on a happy note. There's also what you the also get stage inside that play. A good example is to unwrap the one. In the process, he needed to also stage how the father was killed. As the play was going on, the father was killed so many years ago. He stages in the play how the father was killed. Now, this can fall within what you call flashback, but then it's not a flashback, it's just a matter of words that is spoken, but not necessarily the showing of the actions. No. But this one, a play within the play is a showing of the action, is a performance. Roles are played, roles are performed. Right? So in such a situation, it becomes a sub play within a bigger play, a sub play within a bigger play. And it has a beginning, yes, it has a middle, yes, it has an end, yes, but it still fits into the broader theme of the bigger play. It may have its own theme. It may have its own theme, but it fits into the broader theme of the bigger play. Another example is the marriage of Ananswa. In the marriage of Ananswa, the whole thing is about Anansi, Ananswa, and all others. That suddenly a smaller play comes in between Akwesi and Akwesia. Akwesi and Akusia, right? Now, Akwesi and Akwesia's play within marriage of Ananswa is that, yes, you're my girlfriend. I give you all that you need. I want you to come to my house. But when I call you, you must stop and then listen to me. You can't play stubborn because I'm your boyfriend. Then Akusia tells Akwesi, no, a woman can stop when you call her. A woman will play obedient only when you have paid her bride price. If I don't pay my bride price and I'm your girlfriend, I mean, we do things mutually. Nobody has the right over any other. So you cannot command me. And this happens to be the broader theme of the bigger play. Broader theme of the bigger play. So play within the play plays this role of enhancing the of the bigger play. And it's created always for the purpose. Right. Any question up to this point, please? Any question up to this point? Yeah, Victor.
Thank you, sir. Sir, please, when you were explaining the difference between soliloquy and monologue, the network was quite bad, so I couldn't get it. If you can kindly go over, please. Thank you.
Any other question, please? Any other question? All right. Yeah, Patrina.
Sir, is the play within play? I couldn't get the understanding very well.
Yeah, Kofi.
But the last one that you just gave, the network was very bad when we were comparing the system. We couldn't hear it at all. The last one.
Any other question? All right, let's continue. So quickly, I said soliloquy, the speaker reveals himself. Whereas in monologue, it's just the normal speech that is delivered. A play within a play. I said, yes, there's a bigger play going on, and then a smaller play is performed within the bigger play as part of the bigger play to enhance the thematic development of the bigger play. Right. Now, I want to establish the distinction between drama and theater. Drama and theater. Let's make certain points clear. One, drama is a performance on a stage. The stage or the place where the performance is put, the performance puts up is called theater. The place where we performance of drama is called theater. That's not the theater I'm talking about. The theater I'm talking about is a performance. It's a performance. It can be part of drama, or it can be on its own. And it's made up of characters just like drama who perform their roles before audience. Who perform their roles before audience. Now, what makes theater different from drama is that it has other elements. For example, when they're performing a theater, there's a defined costume that must be put on. There must be defined music programs that must come in. The setting must be skewed, must be designed to reflect it. That's where the lighting systems, the colors, and all that come in. Right? So, in drama, we normally do not see the change in costumes that you must wear this. Now, in drama, they wear normal clothes. Life is normal. Everything goes normal. The moment we place value on what we wear. For example, you want to perform Hobechuchu as a dramatic performance. That cannot be drama. That is a theater. That is theater. You want to perform how the guns were found coming from the sea to where they are now. That performance is a theater. So theater will not necessarily be purely on the normal life situation, but it could have religious implication, it could have historical implication, it could have other ritualistic implications. And therefore, the lighting systems, the color systems, the clothing, the food, dancing, drumming, the miming, etc., they all come in to make theater different from drama. So if you watch dance drama, it is theater where there's no speaking, but it's just dancing, miming, gestures, and that's a theater. And it can be part of drama or it can be on its own. It can be on its own. Am I right? Patricia, your hand is still up. Can you let it go down? Right. So let's make it clear the major differences between a theater and drama. Right. So one, we say that drama refers to the printed text of a play, right? While theater refers to the onstage production of the play, right? Then we talk of the interpretation of the play presented by the onstage production might be different from the interpretation obtained by reading. So we don't go there. Now, the next one is that in drama, there's direct interaction between the audience and the creator. That direct interaction between the audience and the creator, that's drama. In theater, However, theater directors, actors, and designers play as intermediaries. In theater, directors, playwrights, etc., they only play as intermediaries. They are not part of the play. The real, how do you call it? Performers, the lighting systems, the clothes, the design of the setting. They are the theater, and not the actors, and not the directors, not the designers. So you go to a theater, and then the stage is put up in a certain way to reflect a village scene. That is a theater. The person we're interested in what he or she comes in. Comes with performance, the abstract thing. That you need to mention. So we say that the theater, the basic elements of theater are the actor, not the actor as a person. Elements that enhance the aesthetic of the performance. So as I said, we may one day be asked to define or the same between theater and drama. And I hope we'll do justice to it beautifully. Right. Now let us focus our attention on comedy, because we'll be talking about She's to Conquer very soon. So let's give you a bit of background to comedy. Right. Last week on Wombats, I told you to read a book by Aristotle. And I mentioned to you that our definition of tragedy, in part, is based on what Aristotle defines as tragedy. In that same book, Aristotle also defines for us comedy and the rest. And do we all have network challenges or just a few?
Yes, please. For me, I have.
Yes,
all of
please.
us. It seems like it's a nationwide problem.
In my case, it is not good at all.
I know as for school students, they always complain. All right. So Aristotle in his Poetics, in a way, condemned comedy because it's a comic poet. And he believes that comedy or comic things are for lower class of people. Lower class of people. They are those who are much into these comic things. They believe that real serious people engage themselves in issues of life serious issues of life and death. So they will deal with tragedies. Yeah, they will deal with tragedies. Whereas the low class of people would deal with comedy. So from the classic period to modern times, especially from the classic period, comic is seen as a laughable thing, something that is just to laugh and then something. So a comic poet will come to the scene and then maybe sing funny things and I get it. In fact, in Ghana, most of our comedies are presented in that humorous manner. You are talking of the Nkomodes, the Bob, is it Okala or Okara or whatever. You can talk of the Jackals, the Lewins, and so on. Yeah, they are comic people. And therefore, when we see them, even when they do something very, very serious and important, say, wow, you're surprised because these are funny people. So do they even have sense to do anything better? Right? So it is a genre of dramatic literature that deals with amusements or with some serious or profound actions like familiar satirical manner. Even if it's a serious thing, we see it as something laughable, something satirical. We will laugh. And as I mentioned, it dates back to BC, the 5th century before Christ was born, and it's associated with the kind of laughter that came with the worship of a Greek god, Dionysus. Yeah, that kind of. So as I mentioned, Aristotle didn't give a place to it because he felt it wasn't so important a thing to do. But then two major English writers made comedy very, very important. Pay attention to those. Two major English writers made comedy very important, and they tried to move away from Aristotle's perspective of the comedy being for fools into saying that comedy is an aspect of life. But life is not all about serious. Sometimes we laugh, even in the midst of seriousness. Yeah. So, and these people who ruled between 1590 and then 1630s are William Shakespeare and Ben Jonson. William Shakespeare and Ben Jonson. Please take note, we have Samuel Johnson too. He is not part of what we're talking about here. We are talking about William Shakespeare and Ben Jonson. Right. So they popularized comedy. They popularized comedy. Now, if we go through the plays that Shakespeare has written, most of his plays are comedy. Have we mentioned any of them? Do you know any comedy that Shakespeare has put up? Any Shakespeare's comedy? Oh, no one is minding me. Hello, are you here or you are gone?
We are here.
So tell me.
No, please, we are here. We are only trying to remember. Recall some.
Okay, Ben. Ben, your hand is up. Gypsy. Gypsy. Frida.
Prof. As you like it, Prof.
As
This
you
is
like
it.
it.
As you like it, yeah.
As you like it.
Oh, So all you all know is how you like it.
Major for major.
I see.
So how about the Merchant of Venice?
Yeah, Merchant of Venice, I will put it in tragicomedy. I put Merchant of Venice in tragicomedy. And I know some of you may not agree with me because the commentaries will say comedy, but no. The features of Merchant of Venice makes it more tragicomedy than just a comedy. Yeah, Maria.
Much ado about nothing.
Come again.
Much ado about nothing.
Thank you. Much ado.
There is a banter between Beatrice and Benedict.
We know. Okay, we know. Much ado about nothing. Yeah. Frank?
Mariam has stated my points.
Ostora. Hannah? Hannah? Okay, Hannah in capital letters and Hannah in small letters. Ike.
Hello, sorry, sir. Hello, sir. Midsummer's Night Dream.
All right. So these are evidence. These are evidence that yes, indeed, yeah, can be attributed to us being the one who has really helped comedy to develop, comedy to gain popularity, comedy to gain recognition, right? And then Ben Johnson. So let's take note that whilst Shakespeare wrote all kinds of comedy, he did not write satirical comedy. Ben Jonson did not write all kinds of comedy. He wrote satirical comedy. So Shakespeare wrote comedies of all kinds, minus satirical comedy. Ben Jonson wrote only satirical comedy, not any other kind of comedy. Can somebody explain to us what you mean by satirical comedy? Hannah, can you go down? Can somebody explain to us what you mean by satirical comedy? Hilda. Hilda.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, Hilda, let's hear you.
So satirical comedy uses humor and exaggeration to criticize human beings' weakness and also problems, social problems, maybe with regards to religion, corruption, and a whole lot, not just for laughter.
Thank you. Yeah, Edu.
Oh, please. Satirical comedy is a work that exposes the foolishness and hypocrisy of the society through laughter with the aim of correcting them, or rather just a mere entertainment.
All right, thank you. Jasmine?
Sir, please. I think satirical comedy conveys a serious message with humor.
Thank you. So all these contributions are apt. Right. Satirical comedy has more of a social function to perform. It has thus intention of cleaning society through laughter, light-hearted scenarios. Right. So as we watch we try to call such satirical comedies. So Green Society, whereas Shakespeare produced all kinds of comedies. To his other forms of comedy, like because if you look at a book like As You Like It, for instance, a brother, the brother, and all those things, they go to the forest, and then in the forest there's love in the forest and all. So, so for me, so Shakespeare does not openly come up with his satirical comedies. I believe a satirical comedy aims at cleaning society and making society a better place to live in. Then when individuals are touched, when individuals are made to appreciate the follies of life, it's a way of cleaning the broader society, right? Interestingly, we will say that Shakespeare's most of his comedies are all about love and marriage and ending on happy notes. Ending on happy notes, right? So, for example, I want to isolate Merchant of Venice here because Merchant of Venice, if you look at the story, you see that at a point there's real life and death. There's real life and death, where Shylock pulls his knife, about to cut a pound of flesh around the chest of Antonio, right? On the chest of Antonio. I don't know how deep it will go, don't know how it will touch the heart and all that. And therefore, that's life and death. So we will not absolutely conclude that it's a tragedy, it is a comedy from beginning to the end. No, it has elements of tragedy. It has elements of tragedy. You're looking at the Tempest. Look at the Tempest. Tempest would have some elements of tragedy because that's the point where a people's language, land, and all that taken away from them, right? A people's language, a people's land taken away from them. And you are talking of Caliban. You are talking of Caliban and his mother, right? But then, much ado about nothing. It's a pure love between a man and a woman, or men and women. 12 nights, pure. All is well that ends well. Pure. Pure. Good. Now, though the classical definition of comedy means any play that ends on a happy note. I would want to say that we may not look at all comedies as ending on happy notes, because happiness is highly relative. Happiness is highly relative. I want to take note of that. So a performance may end on a good note, but not necessarily so happy. It may end on the achievement of a dream, but not so much of a happy. One may also end on a humorous note, but and so on and so forth. So we ought to understand what you mean by a happy note, and that should not be the yardstick. For example, I will not also say that every tragedy ends on a sad note. No, we'll talk about all these things as we go on. That's why I said that I don't want us to get stuck to those definitions we know, those basic definitions that we know. We're going to teach at the SS, and our knowledge must be based on understanding than just on memorizing and then pouring, and therefore we're not ready to change. No, I would not take those ones. Good. Now, the modern usage combines this sense with that in which Renaissance scholars apply to ancient comedies. Now, what is considered a different kind of comedy is derived from the differences in attitude of authors towards their subjects. That's the point I'm making. That's not all about laughter. It's not all about ending on happy notes. It's not all about ending on marriages. It's not all about making somebody happy and another person cry and so on. No, but we can define comedy looking at how the attitude the playwright puts towards the issues he is dealing with. For example, we it's on this basis that some people may look at if we decide to take it from a purely classical point of view, then Merchant of Venice is a comedy. Then Romeo and Juliet is a comedy. Then the Tempest is a comedy. But if you look at it from perspective of the attitudes of authors toward their subject, the issue that they discuss, then you may not conclude that this is pure comedy. You may want to say it's a tragicomedy or something and so on. Right. Can I go on, please? Can I go on?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we want to delve a bit into types of comedy. I think I gave you an assignment last week. Is it right? I gave some assignment. That's not that some things I asked you to look up for, and they come and share. Is it true? Hello. I know schoolboys and girls, they'll keep quiet about it. They will never say yes or no. Because it's an assignment that I gave. Or they will which one is did I give an assignment? Or I didn't. Mercy.
Sir, not that I remember, please.
I know. That's what you say.
Prof, no, give us any assignments.
Prof, please, you didn't give us any assignment.
I didn't ask you to check up anything online.
No, please. Yes,
Okay.
Prof.
I hear you. And I remember the assignment and tell you. Right. So we have said that we can categorize comedy into subgenres, and each type that we identify can be identified because of some characteristics that it demonstrates. For example, we have farce, FARCE. We have romantic comedy. We have satirical comedy. We have comedy of manners. We have comedy of errors. We have melodrama. And I mentioned melodrama. I asked you to look for the meaning of melodrama. And then on a lighter note, we may also look at tragicomedy. We are adding tragicomedy to types of comedy because it ends as a tragedy, as a comedy. It starts as a tragedy, shows elements of tragedy, but then ends as comedy. That's why we are adding it. But then it will not fall within the pure category of comedy. Right. We may also look at other types as parody, comedy of character, social comedy, comedy of ideas, comedy of intrigue, and sentimental comedy. Right. We may have all these as types of comedy. So I think today I can ask you to look for what each one of these means. Farce, romantic comedy, satirical comedy, comedy of errors, comedy of manner, melodrama, parody, comedy of character, social comedy, comedy of ideas, comedy of intrigue, and sentimental comedy. So I guess I can ask you to look out for these. Am I right?
Yes,
Right.
please.
Prof. Right.
Augustina, Mercy. Am I right?
Right,
Good.
Prof.
So next we're going to meet. Don't say I didn't give you an assignment.
All right. This one is heard
All right.
clearly.
Let's just quickly look at features and functions of comedy, and then we'll descend into other things. Right. So, one, when we talk of comedy, then one, it's obvious that we are looking at a struggle of young lovers to overcome problems, often resulting in the interference of their elders. And here we're looking at Romeo and Juliet, where Romeo falls in love with Juliet, but because of a long-standing enmity between the two families, they say no. Guys maneuver to convince their parents and then get married. They will say it is comedy. Unfortunately, in the course of Romeo and Juliet, they both died. They both died. And their death reconciles their family. And that's where I see the comedy. The fact that the death of the two reconcile two families who have been at loggerheads for a very long. That they've died. But then their death has right. Then so many young lovers confront the challenges. External conflict in their pursuit of love. So if they're able to overcome it, then there's that internal happiness. Maybe it's that there are elements of reunification. There are elements of patience and reunification. How would you describe it? Right. Oh, no one. So which plays have you read? Have you people read? Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, Esther, let's hear you.
Oh, please, we read Dear Blood. For me in
When?
school, I read Dear Blood
I
in
see.
college.
Is it a comedy?
Yeah.
The
Yes.
No,
Marriage of an Answer is a comedy.
No, Esther. Dear Blood, is it a comedy?
no. You were asking the book that we read, and I'm telling you, the Dear Blood is not a comedy.
But then there are other dramatic ways that you read that comedy.
No,
Apart
for us, it was the Dear Blood and other books which was related to prose.
Esther, you are wrong. Esther, you are wrong.
It's
I am in
true,
charge.
Prof.
I'm in charge of that course. All your literature courses you did at college, I'm in charge of it. And I know you read Dear Blood. You read Our Husband Has Gone Mad Again. You read.
Yes, Prof. So the husband has gone mad again is a comedy.
That's not.
I now remember.
Shame. HAPPY. Yeah, Frank, let's hear you.
I wanted to comment on Our Husband Has Gone Mad Again, and Esther has clarified herself.
All right. Now, so when we look at Marriage of an Answer, for instance, it's a comedy. It's a comedy. And of course, it's also about love. It's a comedy, there's love. The idea of separation and reunification may not come in, but then if you go to Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing, there isn't the idea of separation and reunification. No. So therefore, that's why we said some elements of separation and reunification. Good. Another thing is mistaking identities. Often there's a disguise somewhere. And this is a crucial thing we see in She Stoops to Conquer. She Stoops to Conquer. There's this crucial thing of disguise. This crucial thing of disguise. In the Marriage of an Answer, we have some elements of disguise. Some elements of disguise where an answer is made to die, pretend dead, and then she wakes up when the true lover comes around. Right. So we have that's one also there. Good. In some text, there is a clever servant somewhere. A clever servant somewhere, which is who might be influencing things, might be pulling strings. Yes. Then we have family tensions that usually get resolved at the end and so on. Let me mention that all these features of comedy are drawn from Shakespeare's comedies. They are drawn from Shakespeare's comedies. Maybe I will ask you to also look at some African comedies and the features of some African comedies. Right. So if I take a book titled Our Husband Has Gone Mad Again, we're not talking of separation and then reunification, but we are talking of uplifting the image of women. The image of women. So that becomes gender issue. Gender issue. So the fact that women now ride over men, women show superior understanding over men, that becomes an issue there. That becomes a feature. If I look at Amatedu's Dilemma of a Ghost, where we see, yes, that one is the separation and unification, because the slave trade sent so many Africans outside to US, and then there's a comeback of Ilaria to Africa, and then though there was a struggle, but then there was the final unification acceptance of Ilaria as an African. Yeah. So African comedies may also have their unique attributes that we can look for and then deal with. Right. Now let's also say that comedy mostly have complex and then interwoven plot lines which create suspense. So that's where we may bring in some elements of tragedy. So we think that boy and girl, they have met, they are showing their love, everything goes smooth for them. Then suddenly something happens and they need to fight. And then we, the readers or listeners, will be expecting to see how it will end. Our hearts are in our mouth. Then finally, there is resolution that says that, oh, they are succeeded and therefore they can live together as a man and a woman. And these issues are sometimes brought up through the language. In fact, when we talk of issues of love, we see it in language. When we talk of issues of laughter, humor, it is in the language. Yeah, it is in the language. So the kind of literary language we see in comedy may be a bit different from the kind of literary language we may see in tragedies. For example, in comedy, we may see pun. We may see comic expressions. But in tragedy, we go purely tragic. There are also instances of humor. And the humor is seen in sometimes the disguise, the ironies, in the diction, in the costume, the use of language, situations and events. We have all these. So when we go to She Stood to Conquer, we have irony there. Born out of situation irony, character descriptions, and other things that creates departure from expectations. Good, but they will come back to it. So these are some of the things that could define comedy for us. Do you think comedy has any relevance, any importance? Do you think comedy has any importance, any relevance? Could comedy perform any function? Please have. Is it?
Yes, please, Prof.
If yes, what are they? What do you think are some of the functions that comedy can perform?
Oh, Prof, please. My point is social criticism,
who's speaking?
Because sometimes comedy criticizes bad leadership governments.
Frank, we have said you raise your hand, we'll call you. Don't just get in and start talking. We don't do that in my class, please. Right. So, Mercy, let's hear you.
So, please, comedy provides entertainment.
Right.
Through humor, it helps people to reduce stress.
All right. So, it provides entertainment, reduces stress. Okay. Yeah. Miss Fidi. Is it Fidi or Fadi? Augustina.
Oh, thank you. Please, comedy exposes and radical stupidity and immorality.
So we are made to see the follies of life. So comedy exposes, ridicules, and then criticizes the misbehaviors, misconducts of life. Yes. Any other? Any other? All right. So let's put what you have said in perspectives. One, it provides entertainment. Two, it gets an opportunity to laugh at the ills of society, the ills of society, that's in satirical comedy, the follies of society, the vices of society, and then we find solutions to them. So in that situation, comedy becomes impersonal, polite, and very near to a smile, right? Then comedy can also address the follies of a character, the follies of a character. And I think a very good example is Shakespeare's play, Much Ado About Nothing. Much Ado About Nothing. Aware, where we are made aware that two people, a man and a woman, they say they don't want to marry. They don't want to ever hear of marriage in their lives. Then things go on and on and on and on. And then the two who say they'll never marry, they fall in love and they marry. Of course, these are weaknesses of humanity. So through that, we never say never. Never say never. That's of a character. Comedy exposes and ridicules stupidity and immorality. Yes, stupidity and immorality. Without showing any sense of anger. Without showing any sense of anger. But then attempt to create reformation. Attempt to create reformation. Right. Comedy exposes institutions. Comedy exposes institutions and then satirize them. Comedy in parodizing makes fun. In parodizing, I've used the word parody, though I've asked you to do for parody as a comic play. Yeah. In parodizing, it makes fun of human character. So we would agree that is specific mentions that the name of a good we can't know where the mention that the manager can perform. The person that manager can perform we can't know. So mentions of comedy are specific to a text. So if you read She to conquer, it's a drama. This four punches. Just focus on She to conquer because I have said that the text performs its own function. Right. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yeah, Doc, you said we should read something. The network failed, so we couldn't hear. Yes.
Any question? Any question?
Yes, Prof. I was saying that you said we should read something. I didn't hear because of the network.
All right. So we are looking at some basic terms and we'll move into soup to conquer. Maybe we'll do soup to conquer when we come back from break. So let's look at comic hero. Comic hero. Comic hero. Now, once again, a comic hero is the one who emerges as the most admirable character in a comedy. The comic hero may be the protagonist, may be the major character, the main character. But we call him a comic hero because he's the one who succeeds and who is admired by readers. A comic hero is a character with a personal charm, winning basic approvals and support from the audience. A comic hero may be a humorous character, may be a low, ignorable figure, a low, unnecessary, not respected, not so much of a high class figure. But then save the day. This shows that a comic hero may not necessarily be the major character or main character or protagonist. He or she is usually a character from a lower class. A comic hero is average to below average in terms of a moral character. So if you look at the marriage of Ananswa, for instance, Ananswa is not like the chiefs, it's not like Christiana, it's not like Aya, it's not like even her father. But then she quietly goes through the activities, and at the end, she becomes the toast of joy in the book. There's what you call comic relief. And comic relief, it comes with the comic relief is easily found in tragic situations. Comic relief is found in tragic situations where an action or a word or a character or an event or situation will create laughter. Will create laughter in the midst of tension, in the midst of fear, in the midst of uncertainty, in the midst of danger. So this laughter comes in, this comic situation comes in, comic episode comes in, comic word item is used, comic event comes in, and it reduces the tension and provide emotional outlet for laughter. Right. So it's like you are watching a movie. At a movie, you get a very scary place, a very scary place, and you sit tense. You don't know what's going to happen. Is somebody going to die? Is someone going to fall into a danger? And suddenly something funny comes up. You laugh over it and realize that all the pent up tension gets released and you come back to start all over again. That is comic relief. We will also talk about mimicry. Mimicry is imitating imitating a character's attitude, a character's speech, a character's mannerism, etc., in order to mock the person. This is very close to parody. In parody, you imitate the person, but then wrongly. If the person sings beautifully, you may sing to a twisted lip. That's parody. This word finds expression in the Akan proverb that if your enemy is learning how you dance, it twists the waist. So right? It twists the waist. That's parody. We can also talk about pun, which means playing on words, so that the meanings get twisted, the message gets skewed, right? Skewed means skewed, that's SKEWED, skewed. It means the meaning is twisted. Right? Yeah, Christopher, your hand is up. Any problem? All right. So these are a few things, and then apply them as we enter into the text proper, that she stood conquer proper. Before we go, let me introduce the text to you. What do you understand by she stoops to conquer? What's the meaning of she stoops to conquer? Can someone explain? The play we are going to read is titled She Stoops to Conquer. Can somebody explain the title, She Stoops to Conquer, to set us on edge as to what we expect? Yeah, Prince. Prince, you raise your hand, we'll call you and you are gone.
I'm here.
So let's hear you.
I said, she seems to conquer. If you look at the title, it seems, to my understanding, it's like someone who wants to overcome a problem. Like there's a problem at hand, and she's being perseverance in order to conquer the problem, overcome the problem. Thank you.
I see. Thank you. Yes. Ike. Bernard.
Sir, good morning once again, sir. My understanding of the title is that the word stoop is to go or bend the body down, go below some measure to the ground. So, and the conquer also simply means to defeat somebody. So, in this sense, she stooped to conquer means she goes down in order to be able to defeat somebody or some situation. You're able to go through certain situation. She has to humble herself in order to be able to, rise to the top to conquer and defeat somebody. That's my understanding, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, Hilda.
I think he said what I wanted to say, but I just wanted to say that humbling oneself to achieve a goal, maybe using a very clever way or conquering things on the way.
All right. Ike. IAC. Mercy.
Yes, Prof. I also understand it in this perspective that she's going to lower her status in order to conquer or in order to defeat a problem, something of that sort, to lower your status to defeat a problem.
That's fine. Fred? Fred? All right. So I think you have all given us meaningful explanations. One, let us understand that it is a metaphor. It's a metaphor. And if it's a metaphor, then all your explanations come to play. We have a woman here who is interested in marrying a certain man. But then this man is so pompous, so proud, so disrespectful that this lady, who is also of a higher class, but then society does not permit her to openly show her love to a man, decides to become an innkeeper, a barmaid, somebody who serves at a small mini bar at home, a work meant for servants. This daughter of a rich man forgets about her riches, her state, put herself aside, and then decide to serve this gentleman and his friend who mistake or who mistook this lady to be a maid servant. And she accepts it. She accepts that state as maid servant and she serves. And she serves them so well that they eventually realize that she's not a maid servant, but then the daughter of the house, and through this gentleman. So through her humility, she gets it. And I know most women do that when they realize that, oh, after this man, I think there's money. They say the quite block. Yeah, there's block on him. He has block. They will stoop. They will stoop. They will stoop. Stoop. Stoop and stoop and stoop. And get him. And when they have got him, then they rise to tell him that I only stoop to get what I want. Now I've got, so this is yours. They will discipline you very well. Good. That's the meaning of the title, She Stood to Conquer. Briefly, let us look at the background of the one who wrote the book. What's his name? What the name of the playwright? What the name of the playwright? I mentioned a book last week, and I know you have the slides, so you should be able to. You should have read it by now in the book. Yeah, what the name of the
Oliver Goldsmith, sir. Hello, sir.
Good.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, that's his name. All right. So let's to continue. Is that really correct? Drink water or take breakfast. I mean, you go and eat, and then you come back.
Sir, please, for how many minutes? Right.
20 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Hello. Please, are we on break?
Yes, we are on break.
Okay, thank you.
Please, for how many minutes?
Prof said 20 minutes.
20 minutes. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Hello, police.
Hello, police. Please, I'm
Mm.
begging you. When you started, I wasn't around. So I will plead with those of us here to help me with the explanation you started with. I am begging you. Please.
That was what I was about to ask. When I came, I was talking about the difference between drama and theater, but my network went off. Please, those who were
Actually, I
can you help
joined,
us?
but then we were on devotion. So
Yeah,
we
please
were
help us.
having devotion. So I couldn't pay attention at the same time. And so I decided
I'm also
that
pleading with those who were there with him to, or those who heard him to help us, because for me, my network was disturbing me. As you were saying, you also didn't partake in that part, the
so
first part.
colleagues,
So you
please,
should
I'm
help us.
begging all of us, anyone to assist or help us. I'm begging you so that we could be online with the next one we'll be continuing with. We are begging you. Thank you.
Hello. So please, who is helping us with the explanation? Hey.
I guess they are all doing their own thing as a result of the break. So they might not even be closer to the phone, I guess.
Okay. Then I
Because
think,
I've been waiting as you are waiting as well.
Yes. And I think we also have to take a break. When we resume, maybe we will ask the prof himself if he can.
Oh, no. We shouldn't take him back. We shouldn't take him back. But then afterwards, we can read the slide. And when we are not getting the concept, then that we can take another step ahead. Because for now, each one of us is going for a break, either to do certain things. So they can't use that particular time in helping us. I guess.
Okay.
So let's take our time. Let's not ask him to go back to that. And later afterwards, when he leaves, then we can ask some of the police to help us. It's the staff. Right.
Okay.
Thank
you.
you. Welcome.
Please, are we still on break?
Yes, we are still on break. 20 minutes. It's not up
Okay.
yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome back. Hello.
Thank you, Prof.
All right. So we are continuing from Oliver Goldsmith. Oliver Goldsmith. Let me mention that this play, She Stooped to Conquer, please, you can get it online to read, or you can get it from any of the bookshops around to buy and then read. Let me mention again. Michael, your hand is up. Any problem?
Sir, I want to know when we start reading the text, She Stooped to Conquer, the introduction, there's some kind of there's some expression over there that introduces the text before you go to the one of the characters, Mrs. Pastor. Can you refer to that portion in a form of commentary as chorus?
No, please. No, please. Chorus is part of the story.
Yes, but this one is also part of the story before you go to another character.
Chorus. Are you talking of stage direction?
Yes, stage direction. No, please, when you start reading the text, the first commentary, let me say commentary, that comes before It's in a form of the author narrating or talking about somebody's behavior. Let me read that question. The main room of a large country, house, Mrs. Hardcastle enters, followed by Mr. Hardcastle. Yes, I'm reading. Hello, sir. Do you hear me, sir? Hello. The main room of a large country house. Yes, I'm reading. The main room of a large country house, Mrs. Hardcastle enters, followed by Mr. Hardcastle. She is middle-aged, vain, and foolish. She is comically overdressed, trying to imitate the fashions of London. Mr. Hardcastle is a hale and a healthy country squire. That portion I want to know, is that place a chorus? Sir.
It's not chorus.
Hello. Sir.
Introduction. That is introduction. It's not chorus.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Okay.
Thank you. So, all right. So let us go on. I was saying that this book has a historical background, a deep historical background, because one, Goldsmith was born in 1730. He died in 1774. That he lived 44 years, and he is an Irish person. His parents were Anglo-Irish. Right. Now, so that background of Anglo-Irish alone puts him in historical perspective. We know if you take England, for instance, we have Ireland, we have England, you have UK, you have this and that. The relationship among them is not that very beautiful. It's a bit looking down upon, disrespecting, and so on. Two, he also lived in a period where there was this industrial revolution emerging. So the rich became powerful, looking down upon the poor and such things. Right. Now, after graduating from college in Dublin, we are told he dropped out of school, medical school, and then he traveled around Europe, listen to this, on foot, with little money, and then settled in London in 1756. He first worked as an apothecary's assistant before turning to work as a writer for the daily papers. Now, those days, it was just like today. It's difficult to get jobs to do. So if you want an official job, you need to migrate to London, to big places, big towns, where you'll be employed by individuals who have established. For example, lawyers, merchants who have established. They will get you, employ you, and then you work. Or you can be employed to write on somebody for a newspaper, daily newspaper. You write about the person, and then it's published in the newspaper. Right. Now, the play, She Stood to Conquer, takes place during the long and relatively peaceful reign of King George III, a time of social transformation for Britain. King George's time was a period that marked social transformation. There was agricultural revolution.
This guy who studied this program at Clemson University was given 2 bedrooms, flat. On top of that, every man would speak.
Right. So agricultural revolution had emerged and had led to unprecedented agricultural production, and therefore there was a massive consolidation of farmlands, which in turn sent many of Britain's rural dwellers to the cities looking for work. Because agri was not booming, agri had glutted, yes, glut. So you work on the farm, nobody's buying the produce, and then you're not making money and all those things. So just as we see in Ghana today, where all our farmers are running into Galamsey, others also running to Accra, Kumasi, Cape Coast, Takrade to look for better jobs to do. That was the situation during the period of King George III. Take note of King George III, because we have King George I, King George II, King George III. If it appears anywhere in objectives, no, it is King George III. Take note of the agricultural revolution, different from industrial revolution. Though agricultural revolution was a catalyst for industrial revolution, the two are not the same. Again, there was a serious class division. There was serious class division, which became pronounced, so obvious as the industrial revolution took on. And this was creating problems. So between the upper class and then the lower class, a new class emerged. A new class emerged. And that new class is called the working class or the poor. So yes, they are doing all the work, but then they remain poor. They remain poor. So in the cities, you would find those hardworking men and women, but then poor. So we had upper class, working class, poor, and then the lower class. Don't forget that in history, it's the working class poor that staged all revolutions. The working class staged all revolutions. If we come to Animal Farm in prose fiction, it is the working class animals who staged the revolution. If you come to yes, if you go to France, those days, the revolution that took place there, the working class. If you went to England, the Cromwell Revolution, working class. If you come to Russia, working class. So this working class business has a profound effect on the book we are reading. She stood to conquer. She stood to conquer. And in that situation, the moment one is poor and the other is rich, for example, we're in our villages, when they travel to Accra, Kumasi, and they return with a few coins in their pocket and then their baggy trousers and baggy shirts, they think, so they shout on us and direct us here and there, whether we like it or not, and we just follow. That is the situation we see in the book. Simultaneously, as a new sense of cosmopolitanism began to develop among these cities, wealthy urban elites, they began to see themselves as superior, more cultured, and worldly than people of the same class who lived in the countryside, landed gentry, who lived in the countryside. So when we get into the book, we will see the Malos who find themselves rich in the city, coming to the hard castles in the countryside, and then looking down upon them. Well, the countryside, looking at the hard castles in the countryside, were also rich people. They were very rich. But because of where they found themselves, they think they are poor. So the Malos come, and then the boy looks down upon the hard castles because of where they are. This social dynamic set the stage for many of the interactions in She Stoops to Conquer, as Malo and Hassan, two young city slickers, have journeyed to the countryside to visit the hard castles. Malo's condescension towards hard castle, for example, even though it is the result of his mistaken belief that hard castle is an innkeeper, draws laughter because it plays on Hackason's sensitivity to this newly emergent hierarchy between the cultured and educated city dwellers and the country peasants. That's why I said it has a huge historical element, and that whatever we see in the book is influenced by the historical underpinnings of the time, the historical underpinnings of the time. So the Malos and Hassans, young city dwellers, go to countryside to see the hard castles who live in their castle, and then mistaken identity comes in. The Malos and the Hassans see them as poor people, but it turns out to be that no, they are not. So as you read the book, it was even the father of Malo who introduced the high castles to Malo. But then when Malo got there, he wanted to see something huge. But then these are moderate people, rich but moderate people. So he mistakes them and starts misbehaving around. As you do and connect it to the text to make meaning, right? Now the gentleman called Goldsmith, right? The gentleman called Goldsmith plays short stories, novels. Now his lively I told stories. Now he wrote this thing in such a manner that it was so exciting to read, and people started respecting him and reading him. So when they accepted him, his works, he himself was also accepted into high circles. So Goldsmith was known to be deeply envious of his friends, awkward. He was awkward, ashamed of physical appearance. He was a drunkard, a gambler, an extremely bad manager of his own money. Is it true? Is it true that those who don't come from rich backgrounds, when they suddenly fall into money, they misuse the money? Is it true?
Yes, Prof. Most of them.
I see. Any evidence?
Yes, please, to some extent.
I said, don't do that in my class, so please, you raise your hand. The mark here, let's hear you.
As I said, it depends on how you started in life before you got your money. When you started, before you got your money, that one, you will think before you spend you spend the money. In a way, it will be like people will say to you as that kind of thing, kind of name. But it all depends on how you got the money. In the beginning, when you consider your life from the first situation to, let's say, from tragic to comedy, how you got your money from zero
Right.
to from that to this, you will think, you will, man, I mean, you will think about how you spend the money. But
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank
okay,
you.
okay.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think I don't want us to make that generic statement that depending on where you come from, you may misuse your money. No. So as they do and the rest, we don't want to draw that conclusion. We are people who came from very poor background, suddenly fall into money, and they manage the money so well. Though there are others who also become so surprised and they start misbehaving here and there. But then Goldsmith one has an appearance that is not nice. He wasn't a handsome guy. So he came to London, makes a little money, and he starts drinking. He starts being a gambler, and then mismanaging his own money, and then becomes poor at the end. And we have had quite a number of such people in this country, Ghana. I always make reference to a gentleman called Kiki Jan, those who know him. Kiki Jan. We are told that he had real money. He didn't know the number of cars he had. He didn't know the number of because of gambling and drugs and so on. He wasted everything. Came to Ghana and was even sleeping under bridges in Ghana and died miserably. Good. So we have Goldsmith as our character, as our playwright we are dealing with. His friends would often remark on the contrast between his orderly personal life, his clear, well-organized, and statistically beautiful writings, as a poet, as essayist, as a playwright, etc., as against his appearance, as against his appearance. Right. He was popularly known to have written a number of works such as The Traveler, The Deserted Village, The Vicar of Wakefield, The Good-Natured Man, She Chose to Conquer, and then The Citizen of the World. So as I've mentioned earlier, he died of kidney infection. He died of a kidney infection, though treatable, but because he had wasted his money, he didn't have money to treat the infection. So he died in 1774. That is him. I've also made reference that the background of the writer influenced the kind of things he wrote and the content we're going to discuss. Right. Now, She Stood to Conquer as a play takes place during the long and the relatively peaceful reign of King George III, as I mentioned, a time of social transformation. We have also mentioned that there was an agricultural revolution which led to an unprecedented increase in agriculture and a massive consolidation of farmlands, which in turn sent many of Britain's rural dwellers into the city looking for jobs. I've also mentioned that the class divisions were slow, but became more pronounced as the Industrial Revolution peaked in its very early years and was creating a new class of working class who were poor. These working class that were poor found themselves in the populous cities. I've also mentioned that as a new sense of cosmopolitanism began to develop among the cities, the wealthy urban elite began to see themselves as superior and look down upon others who were not in their class, especially those who were in the countryside. Good. So there's that close relationship between she stood to conquer and that which was happening historically. We have said that the social dynamic sets the stage for many of the interactions in She Stood to Conquer. And as Marlowe and Hassan, the two young cities dwellers, journeyed to England, journeyed to the countryside to visit the hard castles, they yeah, Marlowe and Hassan, who were two young city dwellers, they came to the countryside to visit the hard castles because of where the hard castles found themselves and because of the thoughts that Marlowe and Hassan have city. They look down upon the hard castles. So Marlowe's condescension toward the hard castles, for example, is taking educated city dwellers as against the peasant country dwellers. Right. So we are moving into the book proper. We'll attempt to summarize the book, we'll attempt to describe the plot, and then we'll attempt to define, identify the setting. So the summary is thus. Mr. Hardcastle and his friend, Sir Charles. Mr. Hardcastle and his friend, Sir Charles, arranged marriage between their children, Kate and Marlowe. Kate Hardcastle and Marlowe. Now, Tony tricks Marlowe to think that Mr. Hardcastle's home is an inn. Who is Tony? Tony is a stepchild of Mr. Hardcastle, who was a stubborn, who was a kind of not serious a person. So when Marlowe came to the Hardcastle, he meets them and tricks them to believe that the place was just an inn in an attempt to dissuade them from getting Kate to marry. Right. So Tony tricks Marlowe and Joy to think that Hardcastle's home is an inn. Hastings then plans to elope with Constance. What the meaning of elope? To elope means what? It comes from the noun elopement. Yeah, Esther?
Probably is to run away with somebody or to go without informing anybody. That is my understanding.
All right. Any other? Any other? Yeah, just me.
Sir, please, to escape.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, to escape. Okay. All right. There's a hand here. Who's that? Mercy, yeah?
All right, Prof. So when two people in love decide to run away and get married outside their hometown.
Thank you. That is elopement. That is elopement. So Hastings, who is a friend of Malo, and then Constance, who also stays in the inn, um, they decide to elope. They plan to elope. Then Malo falls in love with Kate. Malo falls in love with Kate. Um, though Kate here, who is the daughter of Hardcastle, is playing a barmaid. He's playing a barmaid. You see, he plays this barmaid thing because Manlo, as a boy, as a guy, he finds it very awkward when he is in the midst of high-class women. So if Kate does not come down as a commoner, as a barmaid, there was no way Marlo will find it comfortable being around her. So she comes down. That's where the stooping comes in. She comes down and plays the role of a barmaid to make it comfortable for Marlo to interact with her and then fall in love. Don't forget that ironically, the two parents had arranged that the two should get married. Right. So Kate proves to Mr. Hardcastle and Sir Charles that Marlo really loves her. Marlo really loves her. Constance, mark your hand is up. Any problem?
I'm a little bit confused. Somebody who is from a rich family, a high class, and look down upon lower class, somebody like such a person, somebody like Mary. We are expecting him to, look for somebody, a high working lady, a high class lady, not a low class lady. But since we have known that she feels awkward around ladies of high class, has made me a little bit confused. So,
Michael, it is very normal. It's very normal. It's very normal that most men, even on this platform, wouldn't want to date the women on this platform. Because they think that the women will say, we are all equal, and therefore we misbehave. So they prefer going down to the GHS girls or those who have dropped out of school to be with. Though we agree that most people in high class want to stay with a high class woman, but it's not out of place to find a high class person being uncomfortable with high class person. For example, at the University of Cape Coast, we have female lecturers who are not married. If you ask the male professors, female professors who are not married, if you ask the male professors to go and marry them, they'll tell you they will make noise. They will disturb me. They will not let me have my peace. They'll think we are equal here and there. But then there are some also. Mark, mute yourself, please. There are some female professors who are so down to earth that their husbands are not even professors. Their husbands are not even lecturers. They are university workers. So it depends. Yeah, so it's not something we can write it off. No. All right. So as the play, is there any problem?
thank you. I'm thanking you. Thank you.
All right. So as the play develops, Can you let your hand go down, please? And the play develops. Constance and Hassan, who had also thought of running away, abandoned their plans. They abandoned their plans. Tony gives up. In fact, let's come back and say that before Hastings and Emalo came in, Tony had made up his mind to marry Constance, right? Marry Constance because of some properties that Constance has, so that if he marries Constance, he can get the property. But as time went on, Tony agrees to give up his right to marry Constance and give her off to Hastings. So by the time the play is ending, just as we had in Much Ado About Nothing, by the time the play is ending, Tony, Constance and Hastings, and then Marlo and Kate were preparing for their weddings. So the point is that, yes, indeed, Kate, a high-class woman, drops so low in order to get the man that she wants to marry. Don't forget that in all these, we can also talk about the fact that because Marlo had weaknesses, that is why Kate had to drop. That's why Kate had to drop to marry Marlo. Right. Now, the storyline. The play begins with Mr. and Mrs. Hardcastle having a conversation about their life and subsequently telling their daughter of the plans of arranged marriage between herself, Kate, and Marlo, the son of his beloved friend, Sir Charles. Don't forget that Mr. Sir Charles had also told Marlo the same thing. Though Marlo didn't know the Hardcastles, Marlo didn't know Kate. Now, Tony, who is the son of Mrs. Hardcastle, but not the son of Mr. Hardcastle, tricks Marlo and Hastings to believe that the old mansion of Mr. Hardcastle is an inn that they can spend the night in at a fee. So, Hastings, the lover of Constance, Hastings gets in, and then he immediately falls in love with Constance, and the plan comes in. Kate serves them, and as they serve, as Kate serves them, Marlo also falls in love with Kate. Not falling in love to marry, but falling in love maybe to spend a night with in the castle, because these are boys who have traveled, spend a night somewhere, and then therefore they want to do something before they go. That was the picture. The play then develops to a point where Marlo denies having feelings for Kate in front of Mr. Hardcastle and his own father, Sir Charles. Kate then devises means to prove the feelings of Marlo for her, as the two fathers hide behind a screen to witness. This is where the joke comes in. This is where the humor comes in. So Kate designs a plan and it tells the two fathers, if the boy is saying he doesn't love me, let us do ABC. You Marlo realizes that has she Tony gives up his right to marry Constance, as I've mentioned. have heard. So the wedding begins that, and then the play ends on that note. That is the plot. Action of this play runs into history. Time and place. Most of the actions in the play there's also what's a tavern? RN. What do you mean of tavern? Any idea? Tavern. Yeah, Poku.
Tavern is more or less an inn or a bar.
Thank you. So it's more of a pub. More of a pub. Yeah, that's more of a pub. So in all these, then we say that the play is set in the 1870 something. So the history reflects on all this. So as we said in the socio-historical background, the period reflects the class system and the dynamics of the period. Right, that's a setting. It also influences the thematic issues raised in the play, especially the class system and how it affects even relationships. The class system, how it affects relationship. The desire of lower class members to aspire to be in the upper class through marriage and associations. These are two major themes. The class system and how it affects relationships. Two, the desire of lower class members to aspire to be in the upper class through marriage and other associations. Right. Now, the play, the setting also influences the behavior of the characters, their conduct, their attitude, their beliefs, etc. Right. Let me identify the major characters in the play, and I will talk about them briefly as we move on. Now, the first crucial major character is Mr. Richard Squire Hardcastle. Now, look at the name Squire. Squire, what does this mean? Opoku, is your hand up? What do you mean of Squire? What some people have changed it to Esquire, Esquire, Esquire. All right. Squire means a learned person. A learned person. That's why the lawyers have in front of their names Esquire. I don't know how learned they are. Some of them, I don't know how learned some of them are. Though there are some that we can agree that they are learned. Yes, they've read and read and read in their thoughts. There are others that we meet them, they open their mouth, they speak. I don't see any knowledge in their mouths. Yet they call themselves learned. Anyway, I'm teaching literature. Let me go on. So he's the father of Kate. He's the husband of Mrs. Hardcastle, but then he's the stepfather of Honey. He's an old gentleman who lives in an old mansion with his family. Now, we will not be able to say that the mansion is for him or he inherited it. But the fact that he lives in a mansion, it means he's a rich person who has made riches himself or might have inherited the riches. He is a firm old man who loves order. That things must be done Right. And this is seen when he trains the servant upon the arrival of his daughter's suitors. He trains his servants, he directs his servants, he instructs them as what to do. He also strikes a deal with his daughter to wear her preferred fashionable clothes in the day and wears what he prefers, in the evening, which is a housewife's dress. A housewife's dress. I don't know. Can ladies tell us what you mean by housewife's dress? Ladies, what's a housewife dress? You raise your hand, we'll call you. Yes, is it Frida? Okay, give to your boy.
Okay, Prof. In my opinion, a housewife's dress is a dress that is loose. It is not tight. It doesn't reveal your buttocks and other areas. And then it's a decent dress that covers even up to your neck. Doesn't show your cleavage or your breast. So something very decent and loose. That's my opinion.
I see. Yes, Frida?
Okay, Prof, I think it's a simple, comfortable dress that is worn by women doing house chores.
I see. Hilda?
The housewife dresses are not sexy.
They're not what?
They are not skimpy and sexy dresses that can
Hilda. All right. That picture makes it for us. Let's move on. So Mr. Hardcastle is patient. So you see, in the course of the play, Marlowe and his friend, they misbehave. They misbehave. But then Mr. Hardcastle, in his patience, waits, allows them to do whatever they wanted to do, until at the end of it all, the true character of Marlowe comes up. This was a gentleman we are talking about. The next person is Mrs. Dorothy Hardcastle. One, she is a mother who is so fond of her son and will go at greater length to save the reputation of her son. She's not. She came to marry Mr. Hardcastle with a son. And this is a spoiled mother who spoiled her son so much that the reputation of the son is so important and that she will do everything to protect it. We see this in the first act where she consistently defends Tony when Mr. Castle was lamenting the unfavorable, unscrupulous behavior of the son. If you're such a mother, please stop it. It won't help you. Good. She is a greedy woman, a greedy old woman who arranges Constance to fall in love with her son in order to keep Constance's heritage. To keep Constance's heritage. That is inherited jewels. So you see, she is a deceitful woman. Let me say that deception is seen at two levels in this play. Deception is seen at two levels in this play. At the level of, let's say three levels. One at the level of Mrs. Hardcastle, negatively, at the level of Kate, positively, and at the level of Mr. Hardcastle and Sir Charles, hiding behind the screen to see whether Marlowe loves Kate or not? So 3. So when we talk of the issue of deception, you need to mention all these, depending on how the question is set. Dorothy lies about her son's age too, in order to keep, because the son is older, but then she manipulates it to fit or to suit Constance so that she can get Constance into Tony, and then she, the mother, will keep the jewels. Right. Now the girl in question is Kate. The girl in question is Kate. Let me ask a question. Between Kate and Mr. Hardcastle, who is the protagonist? Between Kate Hardcastle and Mr. Hardcastle, who is the protagonist? Class, are you with me? All right, Mercy.
Yes, sir.
Please, I will say Kate.
Why?
Because the story revolves around her more than Mr. Hardcastle.
All right. So who at the end will be the hero or heroine? Who will be the hero or the heroine in this book, in this story? Mercy again.
Please, Kate. Because
You
at the
think
end of the story, everyone admired her, what she did to gain the person she loved.
I see. All right. So Mercy, are you married?
Yes, please.
How did you marry your husband? Used to?
No, please, I didn't do.
You didn't do?
No, just right.
I see. All right. So Kate is the daughter of Mr. Hardcastle, but not a daughter of Mrs. Hardcastle. And this will explain to you why Mrs. Hardcastle wants to manipulate things around her. And the fiancé, her humility is the stooping. But then the irony is why behind a screen for her to demonstrate to them that they're talking about Kate, these 3 adjectives must to conquer as he only disguised herself, that is guy, deception, as a barmaid in order to win the heart of the man. Play. Hello. Oh, please, when I ask question, respond so that I will know we are flowing. You don't keep quiet and expect me to speak just to the wind. It's not.
Yes, sir.
The next person we're looking at is Tony Lumpkin. Tony Lumpkin. Tony Lumpkin had castle, and he lives as he wants. He loves playing pranks and tricks on people, just as he has been doing to Mr. and Mrs. Hardcastle, as indicated in the first act. So, because he loves pranks and tricks, he tricks Mr. Marlowe and George Hastings into believing that the Hardcastle's old mansion is an inn. He enjoys having fun at the Three Pigeons where he drinks. So we can look at him as a wayward, fun-loving boy who is not serious about anything. Right. Kofi, your hand is up. Can we hear you?
Yes, Prof. Where you mentioned that Kate, Mrs. Hardcastle was trying to do certain deception. When we get the network wasn't flowing. That's why we even asked the question and we weren't able to answer. So if you can please reiterate that, please, for us.
I will go past that one.
So please, Prof.
So the next character is Mr. Marlowe, who is the son of Mr. Charles Marlowe. Now take note. The first one is called Richard Esquire Hardcastle. Then this other man is what? Sir Charles Marlowe. As for Esquire, you can take it yourself. But as for Sir, it is a knighthood title. So when the queen honors you with a knighthood, they are called Sir. They are called Sir. So these two men are not common men. They are not common men. He is Marlowe, that's the son of Sir Charles Marlowe, is the suitor of Kate and a friend of George Hastings. Marlowe is conscious of class structure of the society, and he is always nervous around women of his caliber, but then comfortable with women of low class. So this should explain to you. And as you read the story, you'll come to terms with this. He's easy to trick. That's why Tony could trick him. And he's also easy to trick. That's why Kate could trick him. Right? Right. Now, the person who is easy to trick or easy to manipulate, influence, how do you call it? What term do you use to describe such a person? Please don't mute yourself. We'll call you, then you talk. Please. Daniel.
Hello, Prof. Yeah, that person is known as gullible.
Good. So Marlowe is gullible. Marlowe is gullible. Is it to trick? Is it to be persuaded and all that? Gullible. Right. Let's look at some supporting characters, or we will not call them minor characters. No. John Hastings may not be a minor character. Yeah, John Hastings will not be a minor character, though he's not a major character in the story. So we can say that one, he's a friend of Marlowe who visits the Hardcastles only to fall in love with Constance. He is a determined young man who will do everything to loop with the woman he loves. So he tells us that he wants to elope, but then later, when everything gets, but he wanted to elope with Kate because he knew definitely Tony may be around how them to be. So when Tony said, "Oh, you can take her, you can take her," then the idea of eloping drops. His determination makes him travel with Marlo to the countryside to meet the woman he loves with a preconceived idea of eloping. He's also eloquent, which is seen in how he speaks to Mrs. Hardcastle about London's fashion. So take note that George Hastings is a fashionable guy and he's a flatterer. He's a flatterer. He flatters. He flatters. Don't also forget that Mrs. Hardcastle easily falls for the words of Hastings because she also loves fashion. She loves fashion. So his eloquence demonstrates how he comes back with Constance to the mansion to seek a hand in marriage properly. Don't forget that he's aware of the jewels bequeathed Constance. Right. Now, Constance is another character we'll talk about. She is the cousin of Tony. What does it mean? An orphan who lives with the Hardcastles. So cousin because probably her mother or her father was a sister to Dorothy. Was a sister to Dorothy. She is friends with Kate and the suitor of Hastings. She feigns to be in love with Tony in order to inherit her fortunes from her auntie. So another level of deception. Another level of deception. She constantly tries to loop with her admirer, even at the expense of her fortune. A woman will do everything for love. So even if she has to let go her fortunes in order to marry Hastings, she will do that. Good. Who is that laughing at me? Right. All right. So we have identified these characters. We have said one or two things about each one of them, not very much enough. So I expect that as you read the book, you pay attention to these ones, the characters we have talked about, and then you try to appreciate them better, know the attributes better. Right. What we have here is just a summary of what we have about them. Good. If I should ask you to comment on how a character contributes to the development of the plot, you are paying attention to the attributes that the character holds, the character's relationship with other characters, and how it helps make the story a meaningful one. Right. Any question up to this point, please? Any question? If your hand is up, any question?
It's an earlier one. It's an earlier one that I wanted to use to help out the network.
So can you let your hand go down? Any question, please? Yeah. Mark here.
Okay, so thank you. I want to know that.
Mark, where do you come from?
I come from Cape Coast.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was trying to connect it to a historian, one man whose history appears to be the cleaner of the histories Ghana has. Anyway, let's go on. Yeah, your question or your issue.
I want to know the major characters. As Mr. Hard characters, can you consider him to be one of the major characters? And Mr. Maru, Mr. Charles, Maru, and Kate Anthony Lampkin as being the four major characters in the test. I want to know that can we have four major characters in this test as we are discussing? That is Mr. Hard character, Charles Maru, Kate, yes, Mrs. Hard character. We have Mr. Hard character, Mr. Charles Maru.
How many have you mentioned?
Hello.
How many have you mentioned?
I've mentioned, let me say, 4. Even 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've mentioned 5.
So what's your problem?
I want to confirm whether it is true.
If you understand what you mean by major characters, then you don't need to ask questions. And even in the discussion, I've mentioned to you that the Hastings, Constance, and the rest are supporting characters. They are not minor characters. They are supporting because they are very important in the development. But they are not the same as Kate. They are not the same as Charles and then the Marlows you have mentioned. No. Azul, let's hear you.
Sir, please, with regards to Tony making Marlow believe that the old castle was an inn, can I say that's deception?
That's deception. And don't forget that it was Tony who told them the place was not an inn. All right. Let's talk about Sir Charles, who is the old good friend of Mr. Talking about major characters, Mrs. Hardcastle, Kate, and Marlowe, right? Sir Charles may not be a major character. Pays visit to Sarah. So we may see him as a supporting character. We see him as a supporting character. We have Dogry, who is a servant there, lawyer servant in the mansion. We asked Mr. Hardcastle to set up his house for the guests, etc. There's Auntie Pedigree, that's the aunt of Constance who lives far away. Dottie plans to take Constance to her when she found out about the elopement. When Constance and then Hardcastle said to run away, Dr. Hardcastle decides to take her to Auntie Pedigree, who lives far from them. They also have a maid. There's also this maid in the house. But then the one who encourages this maid encourages Miss Hardcastle to disguise herself as a bandmaid because she saw that Marlowe did not recognize her when she wore something different, and then provided other things for her. So they are minor characters, but then they played important roles in the success of the play. You cannot identify a character in the play and not link it to the development of the plot, the story. No. But identify a character in the play, link the character to the development of the story by looking at her relationship with others and how she helped the plot to develop. Right. We are looking at the major themes, major sub-matters in the play. Separate matter, we can talk of disguise, and I've mentioned it already. We can talk of arranged marriage. We've mentioned it already. So disguise, I don't need to talk about disguise because we have said it, that it is the crucial thing there. But specifically, we can talk of disguising oneself to get what one wants. Disguising oneself to get what one wants. Arranged marriage, we can talk of to save parents' interest. To save parents' interest. Right. Is there any difference between disguise and deceit? Is there any difference between disguise and deceit? Hello. Yeah, Mercy.
Prof, please, I think they are interrelated because people disguise to deceive. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Oh, yeah, you're making sense. Yeah. Patrina?
Yes, I think disguise is hiding your identity, not so that people will not know who you really are. But for deceit, you telling something that is not right or is not true.
So the two are not the same, Patrina?
Yes, sir, to me.
All right. Alasan?
Prof, please, I think disguise is a form of a deceit where someone presents his identity in a forceful way to deceive people. So the difference I see is that I see deceive to be broader, and then disguise being what a form of what a deceit, where someone hide his identity or present himself in a manner in which he is not, or which doesn't show his real distance.
Emmanuel?
Yes, Prof. I think with disguise, yes, though you conceal your identity, but the intention is always positive. But with deceit, that one mostly the intention is negative.
Yeah. But let's be specific to the book we are dealing with. If you look at the book we are dealing with, then disguise is positive, deceit is evil. Yeah, in the book we are reading, that's fine. So deceit is when one tries to hide or conceal the truth from someone, and we see Tony deceiving Marlowe and then Hastings into believing that Mr. Hardcastle's old mansion is an inn. That's an issue. Again, we have Hastings and Constant also deceiving Marlowe by not telling him the inn is the actual mansion of the Hardcastle, but they know. And that the man who is acting rudely, the man that he's acting rudely towards with the belief that he's the innkeeper, is actually the owner of the mansion, right? As well as the father of her suitor. Kate also deceives Marlo into believing that she is a mere bar maid attendant. Yeah. So to do more of this guys, but then Constance and then Hassan may deal with deceit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right. Then we also have a subject of marriage by elopement, as we all know, which is which was aborted at a point in time. We can talk of affection or love. We can talk of love as a separate matter. Can we match them? So we have Marlowe to Kate, Constance to Hastings. Is that right? In that mapping. Good. So there's love in there. They'll come to social class, where we have talked about because of the agricultural boom, because of migration to the city to find better jobs and so on. There's a class system. So we have upper class, we have middle class, lower class, the working class, the poor working class. We have that one, the poor working class. Right. Now, let me talk about the class system a bit. If I talk about the class system, then I want to, excuse me, please. Yeah, let me talk about the working class language. People within the working class, people within the higher class speak educated English, right? They speak educated English. And then the people of the lower class, they speak rural language. And therefore, the middle class people speak a kind of educated rural language. So they stand between. They stand between the two classes. And this is why Marlowe thought Kate was a barmaid, because Kate was, one, dressed in that way, two, speaking the rural language of the countryside. Speaking rural language of the countryside. Right. A minute, please. Right. So Kate, because of the language he was speaking, it made it easier for Marlowe to think that this is a lower class person. Right. This is a lower class person. So, but then in the book, ordinarily, we'll look at Mr. and Mrs. Hardcastle, Mr. Marlowe, George Marlowe, Constance, Kate, Sir Charles, etc., as upper class people, whilst the servant, doggery, and the rest can be seen as lower class people. Lower class people, right? So the social class system is also there. Another thing we can talk about is greed. Greed, which is on the part of Mrs. Hardcastle and her son. And her son, that is this boy, Tony. Yeah, we can see them as greedy people in the book. Right. To reflect one, the class system. It reflects the class system. Make it simpler for you. The language reflect one, the class system. Two, the social period, the historical period as you have who want to manipulate the system such speak the language of the Hardcastle and Sir Charles, speak the language of their period. Yeah. Kate wanting to disguise herself drops her social high class English and takes on the rural class English. Right. All these are spiced with humorous expressions. All these are spiced with humorous expressions. So there's humor. There's humor. And the utterances of these characters come with humor. They come with humor. Right. With the language of the high class educated English and the rural English that we talked of, there are examples in the book that I want you to identify. Right. How do they pronounce words? How do they, which words do they use that show that this is a rural life? Which word do they use that show that this is urban life? So we need to pay attention to that. And then we can also talk about literary devices that they use. Please, I have said that I will not use literary devices, but then I want to, though on the slides I have literary devices here, I want you to fall in love with literary elements or literary techniques. Yeah. So we have similes that are used, similes that are used in the book that you can talk of. For example, we have Mr. Hardcastle saying, "And truly as I am, for he sometimes who hoots like a speaking trumpet." I mean, they want as much training as, right? These are examples of similes. We have metaphors, and the metaphor I've mentioned to you that the title itself is metaphorical. The title itself is metaphorical. Good. So, yeah, for example, but to me, a modest woman dressed out in all her finery is the most tremendous object of the whole creation. That is a metaphor. That is a metaphor. Irony, several of them in the book we have mentioned, several of them in the book we have mentioned. We have verbal irony, where we make a statement which means different from what we really mean, right? So the Hardcastle will say, "No, I did answer him. A, you have taught him finely," and you observe that in this context, it's Mr. Hardcastle who rather teaches; he doesn't learn, right? So that's irony. There's dramatic irony too. The point where Tony tricks Marlo and George. The point where Kate Kate disguises herself. They are all situational or dramatic ironies and situational ironies. Good. Good. There's this one I want to mention. You see, Hastings writes a letter for Tony, and the letter lands in the hands of Mrs. Hardcastle because Tony cannot read. Right. It was this one that gave the information that Hastings want to elope with Kate, elope with Constance. So the secret that we wanted to keep rather get into the hands of the one they didn't want to know the secret. Again, the jewels which Tony steals from his mother's cupboard, right? He gives it to Hastings so that he can run away with Constance. All right. Now, Hastings gives the jewels to Marlo, who in return gives it back to Mrs. Hardcastle to keep it for him. So you see how around it goes. And these are all situational ironies. They're in the book, so you can see them. Right. Any question up to this point? Any question up to this point? Yeah, Mercy.
So, please do have character irony because it seems Mr. Hardcastle and Mrs. Hardcastle, their characters were like opposite to each other.
Sure. So you can see Mrs. Castle and Mr. Hardcastle as contrasting or ironic characters. Thank you. Yeah. Any other question? Thomas.
Yes, Prof. I realized that when we go to the subject matter and the theme, we consider them together. Examples like disguise, deceit, love, and force, and the others. I don't know whether in an exam situation, if you are asked to look at the subject matter, whether you can go with it, with what we have looked at. I'm not getting it clearly. I don't know whether they are the same or because we didn't look at any differentiation between the two terminologies.
All right, thank you for that observation. Yes, we looked at subject matters more than themes. We did not necessarily mention the themes. We look at the subject matters and how they are seen in the book. But then in the course of speaking, I'll be bringing out the specific themes. For example, on the theme of disguise, I've talked about disguising oneself to attain what one desires, right? Yes, I've mentioned such things. Now, in examination, I don't know if I even set questions on themes and those things. It can be possible, but I don't think I will. I may put down a broader thing that I expect you to talk about broader issues instead of just the subject matter or themes. But as I indicated earlier, the themes come out of the subject matter. Subject matters are one word, as we saw, greed, as we saw, arranged marriage, and so on. But then the themes are expressive. A woman stooping to get what she wants. Right. We have those things there. Are you okay, Thomas?
Yes, Prof.
Thomas, Baba, you
Yes, Prof. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Any other question, please? Mercy, is your hand up? All right. So on that note, I guess we have traveled a bit deep. We have traveled a bit deep. So we are left with a few other things that we'll talk about, but I guess I'm tired. So let's end here. We'll come back next week, finish off this one, and then we'll look at Dear Blood. So I beg you, in the name of God, read the 2 books before we meet next week. If you have not read, She Stood to Conquer, read it so that when we come, you can ask any question you want to ask on She Stood to Conquer before we move to Dear Blood. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Last month.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Have a bit.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prof.
Prof.
Have a good day too.
Have a good day too.
You're welcome.
Please, college, what do we have next?
Hello, police. Please, I was off when Prof was explaining the difference between drama and theater. Can any of you help me? Hello. Please, did you hear my question? Please, can someone help me with the difference between drama and theater? I was off when Prof was explaining.
Okay, I think theater is performed, drama too is performed, and the difference is that
Hello, I can hear you, please, Linda.
Hello,
Linda.
say. Hello.
Yes.
Please, I don't know if what I heard will be of help to you
Yes,
concerning
please.
the differences between the theater and the drama. In the
Yes.
first place, with the drama, it's a performer on not on stage.
Okay.
And then with the theater, performance is being taken on a stage.
Okay.
Secondly, with the drama, no costume is needed. But when it comes to that of theater, costumes and other things are needed.
Okay.
Can I continue, please?
Yes, please. I'm listening to you.
Okay. And then he said he also made of with the same costume. When we come to drama, there is no change in costume. Everything is normal. But when it comes to that of theater, costumes and other settings are being changed.
Okay.
Settings must be designed to reflect the actual performance. For instance, when it is in the setting of a village or in a city, it must suit, the settings must reflect or suit the locality of the performance. And then also we can also consider that of drama, that there is no stage performance. As for that, I said it. There is direct interaction. When it comes to the theater, there is a direct interaction that is between the playwright and then the intermediaries. But when it comes to drama, there isn't any direct interaction between the audience and the playwright. That is all that I heard.
Okay, thank you. So please, what do you mean by direct interaction? Does it mean the playwright directs them as to what to do? You do this, you do that, go here.
Yes. Sometimes when I believe you know whom the playwright is.
Yes, goes Oliver goes.
Yeah. Sometimes the playwright can be partaker of the acting, can be part in the acting. But when it comes to the drama, there are no interaction. But sometimes the narrator or the actors may address the audience somewhere along the line.
Okay.
Thank
you, sister.
Was it recorded? You're welcome, my dear. And please, those of you who recorded it, we beg of you if you can play it in any of the platforms for us.
Yes, because most of the time, most of the time I was off.
Okay. Please kindly do it on the platform for us so that some of us who went offline can replay. Thank you.
And Sister Matilda, please, you said playwright. Please, it is wrong. It's playwright.
Playwright, sorry.
Playwright, yes.
Playwright,
So somebody drew my attention, sent a message.
Sorry. Yeah, it's a playwright. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you too.
You're welcome. All right.
Thank you.